Looks like someone was able to monetize this nightmare. Oh, he got cake. All that being said, I am traumatized. All right, next episode. Hey, it's Nicole. You don't care that much. Let's move on. Today, we are watching Attack on Titan because I want to. Based on the premise, I wasn't exactly sure whether I would like this show. On one hand, I am a wimp. On the other hand, my favorite genre of TV show is the kind that leaves you feeling dead inside. Thus, I am absolutely in love with Attack on Titan's creator, Hajime Isayama. I mean, look at this. Attack on Titan is a dystopia where what's left of humanity has been confined for centuries behind 3 giant walls. The show follows Eren Yeager and his, in my opinion, more likable friends, Mikasa and Armin. We soon find out why everyone is stuck behind these walls. The walls and the military protect humanity from what's roaming outside, these giant titans that maintain a strict human diet. Presumably, the plot is them attacking on Titan. Just a hunch. As for my personal relationship with anime, me not being an anime fan does not mean that I hate it. I just don't tend to watch it very often. In my very limited experience with certain anime, things would just take a long time to happen. For example, I watched hundreds and hundreds of episodes of Naruto, one of the most mainstream anime. It has like 23,000 episodes, and I tried to power through the whole thing, fillers and all. So that was a life lesson in sunk cost and melodramatic flashbacks. I did really like the story, though. As for Attack on Titan, I read the manga a decade ago, and the world building and history got to be way too much for my really bad habit of skimming when I'm excited. All I remember from then is that this is one of those stories that you really have to pay attention to because it's going to pay off. So, with you, I'm going to go through the first 5 episodes, equating to around like 2 hours of the first season, and then talk about the overall show. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna turn on subtitles because I am a woman of culture. The show begins dramatically, playing tone-establishing music and previewing the arrival of a giant muscular system diagram. We then cut to a different action scene in a forest where soldiers face off against a different Titan. They use glorified grappling hooks, or what they call omnidirectional mobility gear, aka ODM gear, to swing around and attack Titans. His posture reminds me a little of, there it is. Watching this intro might give me some more context for the show, but I'ma skip it because if I can't figure it out along the way, I do not deserve nice things. Okay, the year is 845. Our protagonist Eren wakes up from this nightmare that he can't really remember. His town seems peaceful as there hasn't been a Titan attack in over 100 years, and we follow Eren on his day in the life. We meet his friend Mikasa and their adult friend, Hans. Eren is frustrated that the city guards aren't like constantly training. Okay, right off the bat I'm getting vibes that Kid Eren is gonna be one judgmental little bitch.
飯食って寝てりゃ生きていけるよ。でもそれじゃまるで家畜じゃないか。
Eren wants to join the Scouts, which is basically this regiment of the military that goes beyond the walls. Unfortunately, it looks a little dangerous to be one. Yo, that's foul. Handing her husband's arm? One thing I have grown to appreciate about anime is the opportunity to dramatize conversations with exaggerated visuals. Like, anime is realistic enough, but you also could never do things like this when filming real people. So, Eren's family and friends, sensible creatures, don't really want him to join the Scouts. Oh wow, a strong female lead. Mikasa is a savage. As Eren's important doctor father leaves town, he passes on to his son a key. I wonder if this is going to be important later. We then meet Armin to complete the trio of kids. Eren runs to defend his friend despite apparently getting regularly picked on by these same bullies, which shows his characteristic hot-headedness. It is kind of funny that the bullies are actually scared of Mikasa running behind Eren. The three talk about their situation behind the walls for reader exposition. And then randomly, after all that talk about no Titan having breached the wall for over a century, a Titan randomly breaches the wall. Oh, he got cake. Eren returns to his house to find his mom squished beneath it. Less than 20 minutes in, the show goes from 0 to 100. Hans comes to the rescue and starts to attack the Titan, but in a kind of funny way, stops, picks up Eren and Mikasa, and just runs. Ah! The blood droplets! That's how they get you. You're just so dead inside that you keep letting the episodes play. Anyway, I mean, cool that they went full circle on the opening voiceover with the whole humanity remembered. You think you know what's coming from the beginning of the show, but it still escalates. The Titans are so grotesquely drawn, like they look a little human, yet weird as hell. Their expressions, the creepy, frozen smiles, the misshapen bodies. Ugh. Also, I just know that mother death scene, 100% it's gonna be replayed with each near-death scene that these characters face. Reuse and recycle, my friends. All that being said, I am traumatized. All right, next episode. So next episode, now the show's just like, okay, all right, let's back up a little and let's give you a little history lesson. Damn, chill. Eren, in his grief, blames Hans for not saving his mother.
Shiganshinaのように突出した地区は巨人を引きつけるおとりとなり、警備のコストと兵力を抑える役割を果たしていた。その役割通り、巨人たちの標的となったシガンシナ区の住人たちは、たった一つの内門から脱出するしかなく。They get on a boat to escape behind the wall, but a different big titan rams open the gate, and so they're forced to retreat behind another wall. This kid, big dreamer. Speaking of dreams, Eren dreams that his father gave him some sort of injection and that it has something to do with the key that he has hanging around his neck. This hints that there's something larger at play, possibly something to do with the mystery of Titans. The show even addresses the repercussions of the Titan massacre, such as the socio-political forces of the new town that Eren is fleeing to. There's a food shortage, for example, and anti-refugee sentiment. I really appreciate this because I feel like a lot of the time a show or a movie will introduce this large-scale event that's supposed to be affecting a lot of bystanders, but it always falls flat for me because it just feels like all these people who die are just like faceless character blobs. Here, however, we're reminded that all these lives are individuals, which heightens the horror and makes us feel like this world is thought through. Watching this, I get the sense that the creator has planned very far ahead and that I could just sit back and go along for the ride. Eren preaches a little more. And then Mikasa knocks some sense into him. There's a bit of an info dump afterward as this show just goes ahead and fast forwards through what happens next. The government sends refugees to retake Wall Maria, the outside wall. in a suicide mission, and most people, of course, die, which happens to solve the food shortage. Damn. Eren decides to join the cadets to do something, and then Mikasa and Armin join him. I'm so confused by these names. They sound German, but then also there's this guy named Keith. Or is this just what Japanese people think that Western names sound like? A more happily titled Humanities Comeback picks off in the cadets training. Keith gives the trainees some more tough love, and we meet this girl whose entire personality is just like food. It's times like this when I'm just like, this is such a weird show. I mean, like, beyond the man-eating titans. I mean, also the tone. Eren continues to be mildly unbearable. Oh, I don't know why. I could maybe think of one reason. This guy, Jean, establishes himself as Eren's bitter rival as he pushes back against Eren's bravado. He also, funnily, has a crush on Mikasa. I love John. There's some weird humor with Bread Girl, and I'm already struggling to keep track of who is an important character and who isn't. I mean, I guess they could all be important, but that would be a lot. The recruits train to balance using their ODM gear, and Eren is pretty terrible at it. He stays up to practice with fellow recruits, continuing to use the power of manifestation before trying his luck the next day. I gotta say, this did surprise me. This show really is devoid of hope. Okay, the twist is that his equipment was defective and Eren actually passes. Cool. Oh my god, these filtered shots are too much. Interesting choice to have a 2-year time skip here. I mean, I'm sort of glad because the impatient side of me would rather get more quickly to the good parts, i.e. the Attack on Titan, but also there is a trade-off with our relationship to these characters. As of this moment, the supporting cast is this huge blur, and it's like I have to cling on to one quote or personality trait in order to remember anyone at all. Like, Eren is a hothead, Mikasa protects Eren, Armin is scared, Bread Girl likes bread, etc. To be fair, it could also just be that my facial recognition needs a lot of work. The show, as if it heard me just now, kind of helps me out by giving people descriptions. No, I'm dead. It's so insulting. Imagine your life had a narrator and it just insulted you all the time. Oh, I guess that happens for some people. I personally do not have an internal narrator. It's completely empty up here. Silence. Anyway, the recruits train and there are some funny moments. Another dynamic is that some of these recruits are trying to join the military police, which is the regiment that stays within the walls and doesn't have to go out and fight titans like the scouts. This, again, pisses Eren off. Eren and Mikasa rank in the top 10, and they choose to join the Scouts, which is on the front lines. Oh, I recognize this one. It's Short King Levi. He's internet famous. Thanks. Anyway, they're assigned to a district called Trost. Trost is one of the cities on the edge of their wall. Eren reminisces on how it's been 5 years since the last attack, and lo and behold, the Titan shows up again. Holy shit, this kid is bad luck. This huge special Titan destroys the cannons on the wall, but then mysteriously disappears. Okay, that couple 100% gonna die. We get a glimpse into the government and a caricature of the ruling class. This lord cares nothing for his people and begs the commander to guard him instead. Meanwhile, Eren motivates his comrades with the power of persuasion. Mikasa is assigned to help evacuate people, and Eren yells at her to go even though she is worried about him. Ugh. Eren. Eren and Armin are sent to the front lines, and we share in Eren's classroom flashback where he learns that the one Titan weak spot is in the nape of the neck. It's kind of interesting to me how the characters are like drawn onto a CGI background. Is that typical of anime? I know Naruto did it, but I'm not sure how I felt about it. I guess it's like easier than drawing the whole background by hand, but or maybe they choose to do it because it makes it more realistic. I don't know. Anyway, Eren and Armin's squad encounters a Titan. This Titan eats someone who I feel like I should remember, but I don't. Also, I'm wondering, like, how on earth did they survive the last attack? Like, why didn't the Titan just run through more walls? Anyway, Eren charges, of course. Oh my god, his leg. The main character did not have plot armor. Oh no, those eyes. I feel like this show is just sucking the life out of me. At some point, my soul just left my body. As Armin is paralyzed by fear and then begins sliding down a Titan's throat, Eren finds the time to flash back to Armin longing to see the ocean that he claims is beyond the walls. Damn, okay, I guess Eren's alright. He's the annoying hero that we needed. Oh no. It's gonna bite off his hand. On that note, I am going to safeguard the rest of my serotonin and transition into an overall review of the season. It was brutal, but I really liked it. The first episode gets right into it and is very efficient with establishing the mood of hopelessness and despair. And it does so with the colors and the music. The plot, the mystery, the gore, the shock factor of major character deaths early on really hammer in the despair. The overall story is very easily understandable, which is probably why there's so much mainstream appeal. Attack on Titan includes some subversions and twists and gets less predictable the more you watch. We as the audience get to see the same event through multiple contexts and perspectives, so it also helps you feel like there are things that are going on beyond Eren's storyline, which makes everything in turn seem more real. You get the sense that there's still so much you don't understand about this world and that this anime is going to be about so much more. I don't know anything about animation, so I will shut up as soon as I can. It seems pretty good. Like, the action scenes seem to have some depth. It's probably not the right term. It's kind of like changing lenses if we're talking about film. They use a lot of also CGI for backgrounds, which I don't know if I like because it really sticks out to me, but it does add to the realism.
In terms of characterization, I was wondering if I was just stupid or if they were just really hard to keep track of. The short training arc and the numerous characters that we had to catalog meant that we didn't have a lot of time to spend with any of them to really care when they met their deaths. I would see the cast react really strongly to a death and it'd be like, have I met him before? I appreciated that this plot was super action-packed, but skipping over the training right as it happened meant that we would get a lot of character development through flashbacks right when we needed to care about the characters. Did not seem very organic. The show would insert some emotional flashbacks into some action sequences, which I felt really threw off the pacing sometimes. I think even the main trio could have used a little more work beyond their one personality trait. Mikasa is a badass, but is kind of flat, especially before we learn her tragic backstory. Eren is the typical annoying, optimistic protagonist hero. I do really relate to all the scared people in this, like Jean and Armin, even though Armin definitely starts off as more of the voice of reason for Eren. I know he grows a lot though. Of course, it's always easy to call for more character development, especially when that stuff just requires some screen time. So I think my first thought is to cut down on some of those dramatic monologues and flashbacks and key action sequences. Last note on these characters, they have a lot of will to live. The themes in the first season of Attack on Titan are pretty clear, who are the monsters? The monsters or humanity? We see hints of power and corruption within the military police and the rulers that don't care anything about their people. We see the atrocity of war and the overwhelming hopelessness. The best example of this, I think, is when Hans goes back to be the White Knight to Eren and Mikasa, and then is just like, nope, never mind, and then flees. In the face of all this, though, the overall message is that you just have to keep fighting because it's all you can do. I noticed a lot of flowers, a pop of color amid all the brown we're used to seeing, and it could be a small symbol of hope. Something along the lines of nature being bigger than silly little humans with our silly little wars. Or the animators just really like to draw flowers. One of the two. Eren is obsessed with the idea of freedom. There are a lot of memes about this. I remember seeing posts saying Eren and Mikasa have no chance because Eren is already married to freedom. Anyway, Eren establishes himself as someone who will seek freedom and revenge at all costs, which introduces to us the interesting question of morality as the lines between who's on either side of this conflict becomes less clear-cut than humans versus Titans. I want to close this off with a bit more on the creator of Attack on Titan, Isayama. My first thought was kudos. Someone was able to monetize his nightmares. But Isayama is so inspiring. He started writing Attack on Titan when he was 19 or so and was frequently told that his art was just not up to par and he almost gave up. We're here right now because this man persevered. Because he woke up one day and chose violence. Cool. If you got anything out of this video, please watch another, subscribe, attack me in the comments. You have the freedom to choose. All right, see y'all.